And once I run that prompt, again, hands-free, and there's a few things it's going to do. Not only is it starting to mark it out for me and label it to keep nice and organized, it's starting to identify candlestick patterns for me as well. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. For the 30 or 40 people who even watch my videos, sorry you've had to wait so long. A lot has really gone on in the background that I won't divulge too much into, but it's been pretty tough. But yeah, it's a new year, new me, all that rubbish, and I'm back, and I've got some really exciting updates for you. And in this video, I'm going to share with you my startup idea. It's been a while, it's been a couple of months since I've uploaded, and I've just really struggled trying to juggle my full-time job, trying to be, the provider of the house, trying to do this startup, and it's been really hard, basically, and especially with trying to do YouTube, just taking on many things, and there's not a lot of like instant rewards coming in, which sounds really silly because everything I've ever built in my life has never come quick. But as I reach 36 years old, I guess your patience starts to wear thin, but this is where it really tests your character, right? And where you should really be pushing as hard as you can. Now, as I'm laying in bed most nights watching YouTube, I come across a video. I think his name's Jason Lee. I'll stick the video here, or the thumbnail, for you to search. And it was just really inspiring about, YouTube's now on easy mode. I very much doubt that, but he is saying that there is a chance for newer creators to get seen, and I think this is really cool. At the moment, YouTube is definitely saturated by the heavy hitters, and rightly so to a degree, because they do make really good content. And here I am in my bedroom pressing record and freestyling some words for you. So I get it. But it was just what I needed. It was almost like a calling to sort of snap out of it and say, look, don't miss opportunities. There's been many opportunities that I've sort of sat on before, in my startup being one of them. And you just get to a point where you're like, Brad, you're going to run out of time and you're going to regret it. So I'm going full on. Yeah, I hope for those who are watching this probably have a slight entrepreneurial flair to themselves as well. Maybe they are already fully established in their companies, or they've got an idea that they want to share with the world. Or maybe they're still unsure what to do, and that's the purpose of this channel. So if you're new here, I have like a vlogging experience of capturing what it's like to build an AI startup from scratch. I'm a one-man band. I have no investment. I have no co-founders. I have no team. Although but behind the scenes, the people that are starting to see my demos and stuff are reaching out. So yeah, one day you can play this video back when I'm on the front of Forbes magazine with all my tattoos, looking like a degenerate, but actually being a very cool guy. Well, my mum says so anyway. But anyway, enough waffle. Let me share with you my idea and where I'm at, and I'm really looking forward to everyone's thoughts. Okay, so let's start off with the icon that I've put together, which I'm really proud of. For those who don't know, aside from having a background in trading, I also work in UX and design, so this helps me take care of a lot of the early stage stuff with design, research, prototyping, product strategy, all of that kind of stuff. But more importantly is the name. I'm really happy with this. Tradar. And I've secured the name Tradar.ai as well. And what I'm going to do before I show you the prototype is just talk about what it is that this product is, some of those opportunities, and then we'll get into how this thing potentially looks from just the first stages of this design and build. So you'll notice here the AI inside the word Tradar, which is just me thinking I'm being clever, but it's actually pretty generic. But I really like this idea of having AI embedded in the word of Tradar, and I've gone for that radar sound instead of trader. Number one, because trader was actually taken, but the radar was a very fascinating concept. If you think about what it does, it allows people to navigate difficult terrain that could be, relatively hard to navigate if you're unsure what lies ahead. So I really like that play of words. Combining all of that together, we get Tradar. So what is it that Tradar does? Well, I want to create the next gen platform that allows you to trade, learn, understand, analyze, journal, all these things, the financial markets, using natural language alone. Now, when you look at the growth of people entering financial markets, it's pretty substantial, which is another reason I wanted to get involved in this, given the huge potential of a customer base. Now, I appreciate this might not make sense to people off the cuff, so I'm just going to summarize what's going on here. In the last 10 years, we've had under 100 million people, retail investors, partaking in financial markets, and that's grown to about 500 to 600 million people in the last 10 years. Now, this is, of course, globally across all financial verticals, so that would be FX, stocks, bonds, securities, the new wave of crypto, all of that kind of stuff, right? And we're predicted to grow another 500 million within the next 4 years. So you can see it's aggressively predicted to grow. And there is many factors to this, and I've got all the research in the background, which maybe I've got time to sort of show you at the end if it's not too boring. But the factors are pretty simple. If you look at trading education, there is a lot more education now, the rise of YouTube and social media, a lot more people are understanding it. You look at the rise of technology, and AI is making it a lot more accessible. If you look at economic uncertainty, which is a huge one, everyone is trying to look at ways to diversify their income and try to sort of bulletproof their assets or those kind of things. And so if you look at all of that activity going on, this kind of pushes people into the markets. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is, because there's a lot of scammers out there who try to sell you the dream and, you can flip 200 quid into 10,000 pounds and all this nonsense, is actually there is a lot going on in a trader's mindset, or a successful trader's mindset, which makes it really hard to manage if you don't have that type of support structure or training, etc. And so this is just super high level mind map. I've done another video on what the mind maps, how to work with mind maps. You can find a lot on YouTube, but they're really good at untangling complexity. So if you look at just a typical trader, whether it's setting their financial goals or the tools and resources they need, their psychology levels, you have understanding legal and regulatory frameworks, their strategy and development planning, the way that they need to journal, the education. There are many, many factors that they need to stay on top of in order to be a profitable, consistent trader. Now, how this is done today is with a lot of choices. You can see I've broken out these verticals between education, research, the analysis tools, etc. There are fantastic tools, products and services, applications that we use, which are really good. But the problem is, when you are using lots of these different applications, you're not tied into one fully connected ecosystem. And although slightly exaggerated, you get this kind of typical look and appearance of a trader. Now, of course, not many people have this type of setup. I actually think this looks pretty cool, but it's not that practical. It requires a lot of manual input, and you've got to really be on the ball, and it becomes quite life consuming. This is almost similar to what my trading setup used to be. I had 5 screens. And so it's just a little bit much, and it doesn't really need to be this way. And so this is where Tradar plays a role. The one-stop shop, fully integrated ecosystem where we can take this type of experience that we're all familiar with and bring it into something a little bit more like this, a lot more streamlined. Now, this is not indicative of the final product. This is just a slide just to give you the idea to imagine trading in a completely different way, which makes it very accessible to people by just using natural language. Now, I'm going to show you the prototype that I've put together, and I'm only going to show you about 5 of these journeys. Number one, because the video would be very, very long. Number two, I don't really want to give up too much away at this point because, I'm a one-man show who's putting himself out there, and people could just, I don't know, maybe take the idea. That's fine, you can try. I've got the name, and I have many more ideas up my sleeve. I'm just working on a pitch deck at the moment with some advisors to help me out, who I can't afford to fully hire, although they might have to take some equity from me to really put me in a position to get the funding for this. So let's have a look at this prototype, and let me show you some of the stuff that Tradar could perform for you. Okay, so I'm gonna just start off without my camera before I put it on, just so you can get an overview of my initial thinking. It's a lot more minimal to other platforms because we're gonna be using this bad boy down here to help drive a lot of the decisions that we want to make. So yeah, super simple interface. And again, I just want to stress, this is just me at the moment, right? So it could look drastically different when I start to get development quotes and as I start to build the team out with designers, etc. But I just want to run through some of these scenarios. So imagine that you are coming on the chart for the first time, and we're just going to use GBP USD as an example, and you just want a bit of an update, right? So I could literally ask, how is GBP USD looking today? And when I run that prompt, it's going to respond. And let me just quickly maximize this. And it's saying it looks good, and it still has a bullish market trend in place. But to see this, we must move to the weekly time frame to analyze. Would you like me to show you? And so there's this constant theme of like wanting to help and add further context. And this is because I want to cater to new people coming into the markets. But anyone who's more advanced might just want to use some of these features just to speed up their analysis. So what I'm going to do, and here's where the magic comes in, is when I say yes, no problems, allow me to show you, and hands-free, it's taking over and doing the analysis for me. And it's highlighting what it's seeing and what makes this a bullish trend. Saying, notice the upwards trend is still intact and unbroken to either side, etc., etc. And then again, would you like more information on what bullish means? So this is where that education is really playing a role. And from anyone else, it's cool just to get a bit of an idea. But we're just getting warmed up here. This is just a simple use case. Now, because we know what bullish means, I'm just going to say no. And when I run no, it's saying great, but I would recommend to keep on top of the news tabs to see what the latest in the world is for which could impact price, right, for GBP USD. And you can see up top here, we've got a news tab here and trade assist, which is really cool. And again, this is not final, guys. This could look completely different. I'm just trying to show you the concepts itself. So if I reset the charts, let me show you what news could do. So when I'm clicking into the news tab, there's a few things going on here. So I'm just going to break it down bit by bit. The first part is that I can actually split out the news in a way that means something to me. So I could navigate through mainstream media, independent media, even social media. My thinking behind the social media is, of course, from a sentimental analysis perspective. You can see figures like Elon Musk, Donald Trump, when they talk, they move markets. So you can envision that playing a role in your trading. Let's say, for argument's sake, you want to sort of tap into when Elon Musk mentions the word moon or Doge, those kind of things. You could be notified of that and get ahead of the game from the sentimental analysis perspective, although that does carry a lot of risk. Depending on your trading profile, maybe that's something that you want to do if you're a scalper. So having full control around the type of medium. Not only that, you can also select what type of news sources. So we've just got all as an example. Maybe you want CNN, NBC. Of course, the ability to manage, because I don't blame you if you don't want to get any news from the BBC. But you'd be able to manage this and really set up the news in a way that means something to you, which is pretty cool. And of course, I can just navigate through that and it's going to give me those news articles, etc. Now, what's really interesting here is that the AI has not just pulled through from an API level all of these kind of news reports, but it's given its thoughts to it as well, based on what it's done historically when these things have come about. So it's saying that it's positive, which is good, but it's noticed an event called an NFP, which those of you who trade, some of you love it, some of you hate it, but for those who are unaware, it's just an extremely volatile moment in the market. It's called the non-farm payroll, and it acts very erratically. So it's called that out for me, and it says, although it can be fruitful, as we know, it does increase the risk significantly. So it's quite nice, it's letting me know that. And if I want to trade it, I can set a reminder for it, or I can just, not set a reminder for it. Or if I'm unsure what NFP even is, I could click on what is NFP, and it would tell me what that is. And then if you look at how the news sort of comes through, I get these articles, which it gives me an overall sentiment. I could view that article if I know how to fully read articles and break that down from a fundamental analysis perspective and know what to do with it. That's really cool. Or if I'm short of time or short of lack of understanding, I could use AI to summarize it, which is really cool. Another thing I've been thinking about is more monetization strategies. There's a bunch of them. I'm not going to go into it all. But one would be to actually use some of these paid subscriptions. So someone like Bloomberg or Reuters, it'd be really cool if I could sort of work a deal with those guys around, integrating them into Tradar. So I've got my Bloomberg news reports or terminals, whatever that looks like at the point, where we can broker an exclusive deal. So yeah, just trying to think about cool stuff like that. So that's a very lightweight but cool intro to some of the news. Now I'm going to show you another journey that you could use this for. Let's say with Trade Assist. Now this is slightly more advanced, still beginner what this is going to show you, but imagine if you could literally type out your strategy and what it is that you want it to do. So as an example, I could just say, can you mark out the key levels from a weekly time frame and draw a trend line showing the next area of interest today? So I'm physically typing it out. And once I run that prompt, again, hands-free, and there's a few things it's going to do. Not only is it starting to mark it out for me and label it to keep nice and organized, it's starting to identify candlestick patterns for me as well. You see a lot of stuff going on here. So it's marked out a weekly resistance line, a weekly support line, the 1 hour trend line, which is the time frame we're in, and then a target zone. And then it's telling me around looking for the 1 hour close. If you see these kind of patterns emerge, you should probably be looking for buys. If you see these kind of patterns, you should probably be looking for sells. And then it's also got a most likely as well. Now, I do want to be very clear. This is not something that you're going to be able to leverage to tell you what to do. Like, should I buy this? It's not going to take that responsibility. It's going to streamline how you trade and how you get information. As I say, there's a lot of scammers out there who have all the intentions in the world that look pure, but behind the scenes, they do not care if you win or lose, because every time you execute, they're just going to get a commission. Maybe you're in a pub and your friend says, oh mate, you should be buying this, you should be buying that, and you're unsure and you don't want to jump in blindly. You could use something like Tradar just to validate that assumption. Is gold a good time to buy right now? And it will scan the internet, look at historic price, look at the current price, and start to give you more of an idea. And again, it's saying, would you like me to notify you how this closes? So you're just one step ahead of the game. Another use case that we could use for is just some of these tools. It's not fully fleshed out, but your marking tool. So let's say I'm interested in this big blue candle, right? And I want to know what sort of caused that to break out. I could use this to highlight, because I want to focus on what's sort of spiked that out of the box. I could just say, what caused the price to break out of this area today? I run it and it's going to have a look at what sort of economic events had come out at that point. So it does say there is multiple factors that can move the price, but it worked out around this sort of time. This was one of the articles, or it could be multiple articles. It's obviously a work in progress, but it's giving me a bit of an idea. And then it also says that announcements from the Bank of England can hold significant influence for this. So would you like me to schedule the next announcement in your reminders? So you're not going to miss out on some of these big events. You can set up a whole series of different reminders for different economical events, which is pretty cool. And then finally, just one last thing I want to show you, because there's tons of other stuff, is this AI analysis mode. And all that does is, if you come to your chart first thing and you just want to understand, what have I sort of missed out on, what sort of big things has happened, if I toggle on AI analysis, you can see these hotspots that it has created, which is really cool. And if I was to click into one of those, it's going to just tell me basically what had happened. Today at 157, price reacted at this psychological level, what the price change was, what those key drivers were, some of the technical insights, what the risk level was at the time, and I can add to the journal. And the journal is another whole beast that I've got some incredibly exciting stuff up my sleeve to really change the game in how we journal. But for now, that's all I can really show. Just a few things, and I promise you it gets way more exciting than that. But yeah, here's me putting myself out there. Pretty scary to put it out on the internet for a multitude of reasons. But I think that this could be AI used for good. There are so many scams and there are so many desperate people trying to change their life. And putting your trust into someone is very difficult. So it's probably better to trust someone who has no upside. Like an AI doesn't care if you win or lose. They're not going to cash in on that. And the final product of this down the line, who knows where it could go? Because I've already been quoted $300,000 to $400,000 just to get it to this sort of level of build, which is going to be just too much for me to raise initially, unless you're an investor and you're interested. Hey, tap me up. But yeah, I still need to work out my MVP. A lot of strategy work that I need to do. So what you see here might not be the final product that gets launched, but I want to show you some of my intentions of what I see it doing, plus some incredibly exciting other features. Okay, so that's a wrap. There's the demo, there's the idea. Really looking forward to seeing what people say. If you want to collaborate with me, join the project, have a chat, whatever it is, please do get in touch. I love meeting new people, and I want to build this thing to get it out there. I've just set up an Instagram page for this, which you can find at Tradar.ai. No one really knows me yet. This is very small. Please give it a follow. For small creators like me, every like, subscribe, comment, and any type of engagement really means a lot. So thank you very much. Now, lastly, I just want to touch on the good news. I've been accepted to an accelerator program. Accepted. And the reason why I'm using this is because there wasn't necessarily a process, and it's also free. It's a company called Underdog. I'll provide the information for you to if you want to jump on board with these guys. They have a free accelerator program which is about 10 weeks long. And it's very much a guidance thing. They will sort of show you the ways and teach you different approaches. And then eventually towards the end, you'll get a chance to pitch for some investment. I'm still not entirely sure how this will play out for me. It feels like I've done a lot of the stuff that they do teach. However, they seem like fantastic guys. They do have a nice track record growing. They are a new company, and it's free. So I'm looking forward to see what comes off the back of that. Just being in a WhatsApp group with other founders is really cool. Even though we don't have similar ideas, it's just nice. Which then just kind of leaves me with what I would really like to do. And I think it's a bit early stage yet, but as I build up, hopefully a bit of a community, I'd love to do something like that, where maybe a Discord chat or whatnot, just to get everyone together, all these founders and entrepreneurs, just to share ideas, see how we can support each other. I need to figure all that out, but I think it would be really cool. Finally, in terms of content, hopefully you've enjoyed this, but my channel is called Life with Brothers, which is relatively open, and I wanted it to be open because I'm into a lot of stuff, right? So yes, I'm into my sort of businesses and startups and design, but I'm also interested in politics, astronomy, MMA, everything, right? So travel, food, and I'm actually going on holiday in a couple of weeks, and I can't say where on here because my missus watches these videos, but it's going to be really good, and I'm going to vlog that, and I'm going to try different bits of content as well. Unless people specifically say they want one thing, I'm just going to sort of see what's going on. I've just received my books for holiday. I got the Peter Thiel's 0 to 1, which is meant to be a really good one, and this small version, which it looks beautiful with all the gold, is Sun Tzu's The Art of War, an absolute classic. I have heard the audiobook of this. I just wanted a physical book. So yeah, any recommendations for books, drop them down below. But anyway, guys, thank you so much if you stuck around to the end. This means so much to a small creator like me. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff that I see YouTubers saying all the time. But I hope you've enjoyed this, and see you guys in the next video.